It's day 14 in the criminal case against Sean Diddy Combs. Let's take a look at what happened inside the courtroom. Another one of Diddy's assistants, Capricorn Clark, took the stand. Clark worked for Diddy from 2004 to 2020 and presented some damaging testimony. Clark said that on her first day of the job, Diddy threatened to kill her over her former position with his rival Suge Knight, who co-founded Death Row Records. While working for Combs, Clark said that he accused her of stealing high-end jewelry and subjected her to a lie detector test, which she took over several hours spanning 5 days. Now, this testimony matches the testimony of another former assistant who also said he was subjected to a lie detector test while he was working for Diddy. She said that part of her job was to set up hotel rooms with baby oil and drugs, which again is similar to testimony from other former assistants. Another revelation is that Clark said Diddy held her at gunpoint and kidnapped her to go confront Kid Cudi over his relationship with Cassie Ventura, who's Diddy's ex. While they were at Kid Cudi's home, Clark said that she called Ventura to tip her off that he was there. Now, she said that she was eventually fired because she didn't reveal the relationship between the two to Diddy, and that he later blacklisted her from getting any other jobs in the entertainment industry. A lot went on in court today, so let's break it all down with trial attorney Ann Bremner. So, Ann, now allegedly subjecting your employees to lie detector tests and then telling them they're going to be thrown into the river if they fail. This sounds very much like a mob boss. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts about it?
yeah, very mob-like. It's just kind of incredible. I mean, throw you in the East River. We've heard that in some different, movies and things before, but kind of gangsterish. But it's obviously these are the kinds of things that the government needs to prove, underlying crimes, kidnapping, coercion, things like that. And it just doesn't get any better for him, does it? I mean, I thought Cassie was bad in terms of being a witness, but this assistant who's testifying is also pretty compelling.
Yeah, and with this assistant, I mean, she has painted a pretty vivid picture involving threats, intimidation, kidnapping with a
Mhm.
weapon. How far is the needle moving towards a criminal enterprise?
I think it's a huge shift in the needle because Cassie had a lot of really horrible things to say, but then again, she was involved with him, and some would say, well, she was with him 10 years. She benefited from the relationship. Whatever. This is somebody that worked for him who came out with only basically the clothes on her back. I mean, she lost all her benefits and everything else, and went through hell in the process of working for him. But importantly, what happened here is, as we've talked about with the racketeering, the RICO, it has to be two crimes. I mean, it's an enterprise. That's what they have to prove. This is the Diddy enterprise, whether that's his, movies or his alcohol line or his music label or any of these entities, just like with R. Kelly. But then within that enterprise, there have to be certain crimes that were committed, more than two. Well, there's obviously two with just this witness. When you're talking about kidnapping, and coercion and intimidation, I think there was also an obstruction in some of this in terms of not telling the authorities about certain crimes, etc. So, and then these kinds of threats he made of physical violence, about throwing someone in the Green River. I'm counting at least two.
So at this point, what do you think defense needs to do to kind of counter all this? It's
You
tough.
know, I find them puzzling in this because I guess what they should have done is accept a plea deal. I mean, that's what I think. I don't know what the terms were, but it seems that it's just getting worse and worse for him. I think that the main thing they want to do is make sure that they talk about consent, that they talk about benefits that people had, that they talk about that he may be domestically violent, but he's not guilty of these crimes. He may be, somebody that you find to be distasteful, but he didn't commit the crimes he's charged with. So they, just like they did in the opening statement, when they said, you may not like him, he commits acts of domestic violence, he does all these different things, drugs, alcohol, but he's not charged with those things. I think that's the cross-examination that they have, and I'm sure there are probably some good times when she worked for him. I can't remember if she was in that documentary or not about Diddy. There was someone in that. Some people talked about, good times working for him and good things that he did. That's what they need to do on cross.
And they did. They definitely brought up opportunities that she got, and she did say that she was able to see this person who was really good at his job perform. So they definitely hit at that during the
Yeah.
testimony today. Thank you so much, and really, really
Thanks.
appreciate your insights.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.